retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. We get it, baby.
Let's get ready to go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome on in to Settling the Kingdom once again here.
Yes.
Week 4 preview, Chiefs and Buccaneers coming right at you here for hopefully Sunday Night Football. That's the plan right now anyways. So
We'll be playing somewhere. I don't know where, Mike, but we're going to be playing somewhere.
right, we got this little Hurricane Ian. Is that the name of this one?
Hurricane Ian, I believe. Yes.
Ian
That
is
sounds
coming
right.
through at the moment. We're getting that figured out. I have a feeling, based on your radar, Mr. Gary Lezak, that
Hey, that's my idol.
maybe this thing pushes through, and then we still get the Chiefs game for the primetime spot on Sunday.
I really believe so. Looking at it here, we saw it today fall into Florida, make inland, I'd say about 2 hours, hour and a half south of Tampa Bay, which is exactly where we needed to drop land. And right now it's just a lot of heavy rain, heavy wind going into play. So it's going to be a matter of what damage occurs overnight into play, and we'll see tomorrow what they assess. Is it serviceable? Are they able to get concessions rolling? Are they able to even park anywhere? So I mean, there's a lot more to it than just football capabilities going to play for the Tampa Bay stadium. But the fact that it didn't end up landing in Tampa Bay is the biggest key of this all.
Well, we'll say by the time this footage comes out, at least, we will know where the Chiefs are playing and exactly what time they're playing. So obviously there's a chance, right? What we're hearing is Minneapolis could be on their spot if everything does not look well. But I kind of expect, from hearing what you had to say, some optimistic viewpoints that the Chiefs could get this game in. I still want Sunday Night Football. I want Sunday night to be Chiefs play.
I think we're going to get Sunday Night Football either way. I don't think they're going to move us from that time slot. I think it'll be more of just location. Now, for the life of me, why they aren't going to the Dolphin Stadium, because Dolphins are in Cincinnati Thursday night, why wouldn't they just do it in Miami? Even if they were at home, why wouldn't you just do it in Miami? Because you want your Florida fans there. But at the same time, what Florida fans are left, that's there. So Category 4, almost, I think they were 2 miles per hour off from being a Category 5 hurricane. So, hopefully a lot of people are safe and well down there in Florida. We do wish them the best here from Settling the Kingdom.
Right. Well, regardless, let's go ahead and dig into this Chiefs Buccaneers game, Tanner. So obviously, a little bit of a nemesis situation going on. Patrick Mahomes has lost 3 games to Tom Brady now throughout his career. It's be a great opportunity to get a victory here against Tom Brady, as he is kind of flailing at the moment. We're looking at a situation right now where statistically he has 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, just over 600 yards passing, kind of off to a little bit of a rough start for the Buccaneers at the moment, just because, look, they're not the offense that they have been in the past. They're not putting up the big numbers.
No.
Defensively, still looking very solid, averaging 9 points allowed per game, which is going to be a hell of a challenge for the Chiefs.
Yep.
But I think that Tom is kind of in a situation right now where they're dealing with a lot of injuries to the receiving core, injuries to the offensive line. And it's making it to where their offense is having a hard time getting going. And we saw the injury report come out here, and looking down the way at the Buccaneers, still limited practices as of Wednesday evening was Russell Gage, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, and Brashad Perriman did not practice. So all 4 wide receivers right there. The main guy he's going to have, obviously, will be Mike Evans.
Coming back from the suspension.
Yes. So they're going to have some issues there to figure out and see who's going to be available to play. And going against the Chiefs, you kind of need everybody on deck. I mean, you at least hope to be that way, because both teams are 2-1. And the Chiefs obviously going to be disappointed coming off a very frustrating loss against the Indianapolis Colts this past week, 20-17. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that game at the moment. Right now, I think I'm wanting to just put it past us. I'm wanting it to be shoved to the side.
You're ready to go towards the Raiders
as one of those one-offs kind of a deals. We get those every year, Tanner.
It should have been one of those one-off games, but since we lost to the Colts in a horrendous fashion, this can't be a one-off game anymore. It's just can't. I just don't feel like with the schedule we got ahead with the Raiders, the Bills, the Niners, and then the Titans as well coming off that bye. I don't feel this can be one of those, we'll just, whatever happens, happens. We blew that last week against the Colts. That was the game that shouldn't have been a one-off. This should have been your one-off. If you're gonna lose to Brady, if you lose to anybody, you're gonna lose to Brady on Sunday Night Football. So, by the way, your big thing there. I know we talked about the weapons for Tom Brady coming back. Similar situation with Matt Ryan, by the way. You had Michael Pittman out, you had Alex Pierce out coming to play, and they came back against the Chiefs. And we obviously saw there was a difference in play. Alex Pierce actually had a pretty good game for what we've, for a rookie. And Pittman didn't have, he had a pretty average game as well. And it really helped that offense out, at least continue to move the ball down the field. You were going to see a similar situation with Mike Evans coming back. Chris Godwin's practicing, so he'll most likely come back this week, which is we already know Tom Brady loves his Godwin. So, and on top of that, you got Scotty Miller already. Julio Jones is questionable, as always. It seems like the last few years, but
He's always questionable.
That guy's really undetermined to what's happened. But I think the big thing for that injury report you named off is Donovan Smith, the offensive right tackle for Tampa Bay. That offensive line is already full of backups. They can't afford a game against the Chiefs to have a backup right tackle into play because it's not going to be good for them. Tom Brady needs something to be protective here going to play. So, I don't think this is a one-off. I don't want to look past this game because we need this game. We need this to win. We can't assume the Chargers are just going to lay down this week either, like they did against Jacksonville. Herbert has another week off his injury, probably feeling a little bit better. Going to play. Keenan Allen's returning for the Chargers. That's the team we got to watch for. And if we're going to continue to stay ahead in this division, we got to win games.
Yeah, and honestly, going against Tom Brady right now at this age in his career, and with the offensive line issues, the number one thing you understand Brady's going to be a guy that gets rid of the ball quickly. Number one thing you want going forward, going against Tom Brady this weekend, is going to be quick pressure up the middle.
Correct.
You want to worry about getting guys like Chris Jones up the middle, pressure right away immediately. And then, I want to see a little more out of guys like a George Karlaftis, who we saw some great things out of in preseason, and I haven't seen quite enough of yet here in the regular season. Mike Dana, it was I think he did not practice. Actually, yeah, he did not practice as of Wednesday evening. And Mecole Hardman did not practice either. He has a heel issue. And then, of course, the old Buccaneer Ronald Jones has an illness, but he's been inactive the first 3 weeks anyways.
Yep.
But I think that's going to be one of those things where I want to see what can happen with some of these guys on the interior of the Chiefs D line, get pressure on Brady right away, because that's how you disrupt him the most, especially in a situation where he's feeling slow because the offense isn't fully together, fully intact, and fully healthy. And, you're relying on Russell Gage as to be your number one receiver the past couple of weeks. It's, and then Mike Evans on the outside.
You want. He's also beat up too.
Right. And Mike Evans on the outside is one of those guys who does at times take a prolonged play call to get him open just because of the style of play he has as a receiver. He's more of one of those over the top guys who want to get in the intermediate to long part of the field and make a contested catch. We're going to see that happen at some point in this game against the Buccaneers. But, is there any part of you, Tanner, that looks at this game and goes, man, I remember against the Patriots, back in 2014, and the Chiefs just went out there and destroyed them. They almost, it felt like at the time, ended Tom Brady's career. Here we are 8 years later, but almost destroyed and ended his career. The Chiefs went out there, and I think Ronald Parker had a pick six, and there were some other things that went on in that game and just killed him. Could we not do that now?
The only game that comes to mind when I think about that is the Kareem Hunt game, his debut.
The Kareem Hunt game.
The Kareem Hunt game is it's that game that comes into play. But what do we get going in that game that was different than what we've done any other time?
Right.
Guess what? It was a running game. It was weird. We were able to run the ball against Brady. Now, obviously, this defense and that defense, two major differences.
Even the first time against Tom Brady back in 2014, as I was pointing out, Jamal Charles was obviously a big part of this offense in that run game. And I think you make a great point there. Going out there and the way we did things then in 2017, Kareem Hunt was involved in the passing game that day, as well as the run game. Ended up with, I think, totaling over 200 yards of offense as in his first ever game as a rookie. And in 2014, Jamal Charles was a big part of that win as well. And I think that would have been the Monday night game or the same time period as the Royals were in the playoffs or something like that at the moment. But
wait, wasn't that? That was 14 or 15. One of the years.
It was like a doubleheader Chiefs Royals deal.
Yeah, I think it was 15.
Might have been 15.
I
I
think
might be
15.
off by a couple of years on that one. I'm not sure, but still, it's one of those things where it's kind of funny. Alex Smith actually had a better career against Tom Brady than Patrick Mahomes has so far to this point. So, I mean, if there's ever a time, and we've talked about this whole passing the torch thing, and it's probably a little too late to look at it that way.
I think it is.
You know, at this point, it's not like it's a 23-year-old Patrick Mahomes going out there and passing the torch, and Brady walks away from the league. I think that now it's like, okay, Pat, come on, let's get this done. Let's get this taken care of. Let's forget about the whole passing the torch and the GOAT and all this kind of
The
stuff.
torch isn't getting passed because Josh
over
Allen
it.
had his chance, and so did Patrick Mahomes. Neither of those guys were able to take advantage.
Right. At the end of the day, Tom Brady is the best of all time, and he's beaten these young dudes even at this point in his career. So it is what it is. But
Yes.
if there's ever a time to take the torch away for a while, I guess this would be the one right here, going against the Brady situation where he is obviously got a lot of injuries on his team, and he himself looks unhappy with the situation he's currently in.
Well, yeah, the offense isn't moving.
Could have right. I mean, right now they got 40, or if they got 51 points scored in the first 3 games. That's just not going to get it done at the end of the day. 27 points allowed, like I said, but the defense is what's keeping you in these games right now. But you're also going against some kind of sad teams. So when I'm looking at this game, this is probably the game where you need the best out of guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, and Isaiah Pacheco. You need your running backs to come alive, and I'm not talking about in the run game. I'm talking about getting them active and involved on outside screens in the passing game. And Clyde has been terrific at that so far this season. I want to see more and more and more of that as time goes on this year. So I also would like to see, we only saw one drive with Isaiah Pacheco, who is our biggest bodied and on paper fastest running back on this team. We saw one drive with him last week. I would like to see more of that. I'd like to see more of what he has to offer to this offense, because this past week against the Colts was very frustrating. And I think a lot of it just came down to, some of it was play calling. Some of it was just guys not being on the same page. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster went out there and had a hell of a game, but we saw some miscues there with Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Patrick just barely misfiring here and there on some of these deep shots. And they're going to have to take some of these deep shots. Travis had a bad game. Travis had a rough game. Travis dropped an easy touchdown in the end zone at the end of the game that maybe could have solidified things against the Colts.
It was an overall struggle for the offense. It really was to me. Like, it wasn't necessarily just all special teams. Obviously, special teams lost 7 points on the board, but it was just a struggle in the offense. It really was. They weren't moving down the ball like we saw the first 2 games. They weren't, I don't know, just something about it. They weren't on the same path. And there was a Twitter post out there today, and I can't remember who posted it. I apologize to my Chiefs Twitter. It doesn't happen often, by the way. But, you know, it was the interception that came into play, the final play, trying to get into a better, yardage position for Armadillo to kick the ball. And I think it was more supposed to be a pick play. Hardman was supposed to go a little deeper into play, kind of give Juju a little bit of space, and it just didn't connect. Hardman didn't end up going far enough deep enough to be able to set up that pick play, and in turn, it was a behind the back throw to Juju, and it just didn't work out. So offense was rough in general last week. It really was. If it wasn't for our defense, let's be real. If it wasn't for our defense last week, it would have been maybe a more not lopsided score, but it would have been us coming back from behind in that fourth quarter with 2 minutes left than us having to march down with 10 seconds left.
Right, and there was some positives here and there in that game. Obviously, Pat and Bieniemy had a little bit of argument there at the end of the half, and I think that actually, if you look at the final score of things, I mean, it played into an impact on what happened in the game. Pat wanted to go down, try to get in position for a field goal. Bieniemy's mindset was, "Hey, we're comfortable. Let's go into halftime at this point."
Yeah.
Hey, we lost by 3 points. Pat's right. That's his mentality, is to do things like that.
It's be aggressive, and I mean, Bieniemy's the thing I heard from Bieniemy too was, and Andy Reid as well, because let's be real, if you have Patrick Mahomes back there, you got to get permission from Andy Reid, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm going to do, kind of thing. And Patrick was getting rushed at that end of the end of the first half. He was getting a lot of pressure on him, and I think there was more of afraid of possible opportunity or turnover coming into play than it was trying to set themselves in the field goal. But again, Patrick's a aggressive player coming into play. He wants to try to get down there and set him up for points.
Exactly. I mean, this isn't an Alex Smith situation where we have a
No.
guy that's like, oh, let's go into halftime. We're happy with this situation. We don't want you to make any mistakes here and there. I'm like, no, we're trying to go for gold here all the time. Every time we get the ball and try to score every time. And whether there's 1 minute, 30 seconds and 13 seconds, as we've seen in the past, or whether there's 10 minutes on the board, we don't care. We want to get points on the board. And so that's why I'm personally in favor with Patrick being upset at that situation with Bieniemy.
He should be. He's a competitor.
That's the kind of quarterback I wanted
that's
on this
the aggressive,
team for
that's the competitor. That's the
all of my life.
That's what you want from a quarterback is, hey,
Right.
I want to be able to go down there and march down and try to set up as a position. But again, that's the coaching staff seeing stuff. They're like, hey, let's just get to half. We'll recalibrate going from there.
So Tanner, real quick, the Buccaneers do not scare me offensively in this game, but obviously Mike Evans is probably their best player on offense. Has been for a very, very long time.
Yes.
Most consistent 1,000-yard receiver in the history of the entire NFL.
Yes.
With that said, going up against this corner in the Chiefs right now, I mean, Jalen Watson will be tested once again because they're going to play the mismatches here.
Opportunity.
Yes. Is Jalen Watson 6'2", 6'3"? Yes, he is. He can at least match up size-wise with Mike Evans. But, that's not a guarantee of anything. Obviously, we got some veteran experience with some youth right there. What is your biggest fear looking at this game right now, heading against the Buccaneers offense?
My biggest fear is the defense of the Bucs taking away our short game passing. Not able to get the ball to Clyde and get space and get room to run. Not able to get the slants into play. This defense is healthy. This is not the same defense from last year that was beat up game in, game out. This is a scary defense going to play. And it's the fact that Patrick Mahomes now needs time. Okay, key word. He needs time to be able to get guys down the field a little bit deeper to be able to get on over the top of this defense. These linebackers are going to come after Patrick Mahomes. These linebackers are also going to be the ones in coverage taking away the short game. The short game's not. I don't think the short game's going to work for this Bucs team. The Bucs defense scares the crap out of me in this game, just for the fact that I don't think Patrick Mahomes is fully put to chemistry with the receivers we have in play to be able to take those shots mid to downfield going into play.
Yeah, I get that. I totally understand as far as looking at this team across the board. I mean, the Bucs have had a good defense now for a long time, so it's nothing new. And Levante Davids of the world and all that kind of stuff.
White,
it's like, man, it's going to be tough no matter what.
I think White made a Twitter post or press conference Twitter post, one of the two, saying granted this is like trash talk, but he's like, I don't see much difference between the Super Bowl team we faced and this offensive line they have now. So obviously things will be put to test there.
There is quite a bit.
There is quite a bit.
Obviously, I mean,
Wiley's still in there, but he's back in right tackle.
That can be some fun trash talk, I suppose. But
I mean, it's just for fun. But at the same time, like the confidence of this Bucs team, that's the whole reason why they are 2-1 going into play. It's not Tom Brady going down the field. It's the opportunity the defense gave Tom Brady to be able to march down the field.
So this might be another game real quick here. Chiefs special teams needs to come up and step up and play right now.
Time.
Because obviously this past week against the Colts, that's a huge part of what cost the Chiefs the game was the muff punt at the beginning of the game by Sky Moore. And just making mistakes, mental mistakes, and that stuff like that. Also, for a second round rookie, keeps you off the field on the offense too when you're making mistakes. Because the coaching, you need to earn the trust of your coaching staff, and stuff like that just kind of puts you back a little bit. It hinders you a little bit from getting to where you want to be as quickly as you want to be. But also, Harrison Butker now should be back. I think he's limited at practice as of today. And
it's better sign.
I think that he will be getting the go-ahead.
You think he will get the kick or
Absolutely.
be able to kick?
Hey, I want to make one thing clear, guys. It was just 2 weeks ago when the injury did occur to Harrison Butker. He went out there and made a plus 40-yard kick from no
50.
There's a word for this. I should be knowing, but there was no step up to the kick.
No, there wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? He stood there. I feel like there's a word here I should be knowing as a football fan, but for some reason I've never thought about it.
I can't
It's
think of it
whatever
either.
the giddy up is to the step up to the kick. Just kind of you got a couple steps and then you make your kick. He did it from basically no stride and made that kick in that game, and that was after his ankle injury. And so if he did that, then at that point, I mean, yeah, maybe tape up that plant foot
You're just saying
and
taper up and let Bucker
let's
go.
let's see if we can get it going. I trust him over what Matt Amendola was doing because first of all, we signed a guy who was like a career 68% field goal percentage guy. And when I first saw that go down as he was our pick, we had guys like Cody Parkey in house and a few others who've been around the league for a while.
I'm kind of shocked that Parkey didn't get the call.
I was surprised that we ended up picking Amendola when we had so many other big names or old big names in house who might have been more reliable. So maybe Dave Tobe needs to get a little phone call here from one of us to get some advice going forward. Just kidding. Obviously, he knows what he's doing with the special teams, but maybe in this case, something might have gone wrong with some other.
So do you think Wright, even though he got signed from off of Jacksonville's, I think, practice squad or whatever it is, he play with Jacksonville, so you don't think Wright plays at all? You think it's a Bucker game?
Well, there's a chance for Wright to play. I mean, if we go into this game and he's active, then yeah, kickoffs. I could see that being a situation where he would do kickoffs.
That's fair.
Maybe he would do extra points. But I think when it comes to, real situations that matter,
when you need that 40, 50-yard field goal against the Bucks,
I think they're going to rely on Bucker at the end of the day to try to make those kicks that really matter because, you want to win and lose with your guy at the end of the day, So, in my mind, I think that we're going to see Butker in this game, and I think, we're sitting here, and he is a big topic, guys. I mean,
huge topic.
He is a big part of this team, and I think anyone who out there who has thought negatively of him in the past is mistaken. So I'd like to say that I think Butker deserves a lot of credit for what he's done for this Chiefs team now for the past 5 years.
Yeah,
it's been that. I think it's been that long. So I just want to put that out there, but. Special teams is going to be the key in this game. Get that thing figured out because it was ugly this past week, and get the running backs involved in the receiving game. Find ways to get that going. Otherwise, receivers wise, I mean, I feel like Juju's getting into his own. MVS still has a little ways to go with Pat. Otherwise, I think a lot is left up right now to just kind of be decided on its own, especially if the Chiefs don't have Mecole Hardman this week. So. To me, everybody else needs to step up. Maybe get some more Jody Fortson in there.
Wasn't that heel game from the Chargers game though? There's one catch that he had to come back for essentially on a catch. So right. I mean, he played last week. I don't think there's any reason why he doesn't play this week.
He might not. And like I said, guys, it's early. We're speaking here on a Wednesday evening, by the way. So he did not play or practice here on a Wednesday. Very good chance he could step in and be limited here going tomorrow.
I don't have much issues with it. I mean, there's a lot of guys too that don't practice on Wednesdays throughout the NFL that end up playing throughout the week. So it's more of a rest day to, hey, get your body right, man.
All right. Well, Tom Brady here. What are we thinking, Tanner? What do we think about this game as far as how this is going to unfold? What's your score prediction for Chiefs Buccaneers?
Score prediction for Chiefs Bucks. You're not gonna like this, but give me 28-24 Bucks.
So you're going kind of high scoring then.
Yeah, I think I still think
okay.
I think offense will come into play. I think they'll be, but I mean not as high scoring. The whole reason I have the Bucks winning over the Chiefs because I don't think the Chiefs hit 30.
Interesting. So I'm going 23-20. Chiefs get the win. I don't care where the game's played at. I like the Chiefs get the win here. I think that at some point in this game, Chiefs get to Brady enough times to where it does rattle him. And I like the pressure idea of getting interior. Chris Jones needs to make up for whatever his mouth was saying last week. The old saying of, don't write a check that your what is it? Your ass can't cash or something like that. Or
it sounds right.
Yeah. I don't know. Gosh, damn it. Limp Biscuit, help me out here. What are those? Your mouth wrote a check that your ass can't cash.
There you go.
That's the one. And at this point, he needs to start writing that on the field. So write those checks on the field and take care of business. And I think that he's going to be the big piece of making Tom Brady pay for some of the mistakes he made this past week. as well as obviously I would, if they end up going more of a run oriented offense with the Buccaneers with those injuries,
Mhm.
I would love to see more Leo Chanel in there. You know that. And we trust Nick Bolton to take care of business because he's one of the best linebackers in the game
Well,
right now.
Elijah Lee got cut today, so there's
Well,
that.
that's I mean that honestly that paves the way for Leo to just be on the field
Yep.
even more.
Yep.
And Darius Harris obviously played a lot of snaps this past week.
Sorry,
But
got cut yesterday. It's
Um,
Tuesday on a Tuesday, but still, no Elijah Lee anymore. So
yeah. Anyways, I think the Chiefs do pull this out. I think the play calling at the end of the day for the Chiefs works itself out. And defensively, we make some stops. We get to the point where Brady makes mistakes. And hey, maybe guys, we send him to an early retirement. We almost did it 2 other times. Once was with Bernard Pollard in 2008, which gave us Matt Castle. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Bernard, for making us hate ourselves for a few years. And then the second one was that game at Arrowhead where Brady was pouting on the sideline when, this was 2014 or 15, like I
Yep.
said, and destroyed him then. I think Patrick needs to be a part of one of those kind of games. Some of the fun games that Mr. Alex Smith got to witness and be a part of, and Patrick needs to be a part of these too, and to get a destruction win over Tom Brady. I would love nothing more than a blowout. So, but
I'd be okay
I'm not
with that.
picking a blowout, guys. I'm picking 23-20. Chiefs still win though. If the Chiefs do find a way to lose, well, we'll come back. We'll have a lot to talk about, of course.
All right, Mike, I'm putting you on the spot here. As Chiefs fans, we always get excited because sports betting is legal in Kansas now. Missouri, I don't know. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but Kansas we're legal and we can play. Give me a prop bet that you're going to put down. I know it's early. I'm putting it out. I'm putting you on the spot.
I haven't even seen the parlay bets I can do yet for this game, but I have been very successful so far this season in these bets.
You have.
So the one prop bet I've seen every single week so far has been Clyde over under 15.5 receiving yards. I'm absolutely hitting the over again.
Okay.
I've hit the over all 3 weeks, and it's happened all 3 weeks. There's no reason. Look, guys, this is the year of Clyde to step up in the receiving game, and he's doing it. So realize that. Add that to your parlay. I like that a lot. Also, I think if you can squeeze it in there, I don't know what app this needs to be on, but take the Chiefs to get 2 or more sacks in this game too.
Ooh.
So 2 or more sacks
Ooh.
on Brady combined with Clyde over 15.5. That'd be my parlay for this game. And that'd probably pay out, I don't know, 4-1.
Yeah.
Something
least.
like that. So, yeah, take that bet right there. That's my one of the week.
2+ sacks. I like this.
Now, I might change my mind by the time the game rolls around, but trust me, whatever I do is probably going to be a winner as long as the Chiefs win, because all my parlays last week were winners other than the Chiefs not winning the game. So
yeah.
I could have walked away with a couple $1,000, and I walked away with a big old sanded nothing.
I walked away about the same as you with a bunch of nothing. It was great. It was great.
That is the world we live in, I guess. But with all that said, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out and joining. And hey, let's
subscribe, follow, do the whole shebang. We're here. We're gonna do a show every week, at least a preview show every week. So make sure you guys do that for your exclusive Chiefs content here on Settling the Kingdom. You can also check out our Sports Buffoon show on Wednesday night. We did start the session out with some Chiefs talk as well. So go check that out with JG out there as well.
Sounds good, Tanner. And guys, let's go get a victory, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
Go Chiefs!